and the family that had the greatest impact on the NAACP lived 3 blocks from me. The Mitchell family,
Clarence Mitchell.
Parent Mitchell, Clarence Mitchell, that group. We were all neighbors as such, and I grew up with them. I was a child, and I'm 81 years old, and at that time I was 10, 11 years old. So that was basically, that's my first, and they were the family, because Baltimore was racist then, had problems, and they were the ones who carried the ball for us most of the time, so that was significant. And that was my first impact on me for the NAACP. In addition to that, I thought that it would be useful to say to you that after I went to college and all that sort of thing, I got a job. I wasn't involved in the NAACP. Then I was going to college, playing football, doing basketball in the Army. I was there in a combat unit. I was an outstanding athlete. I almost went to play for the Globetrotters, believe it or not. And so basically that was one of the situations. But I wanted to lay out for you some of the things that I'm a Golden Heritage Life member of the NAACP. Have been for approximately 20 years, but maybe even more than that as such. I wanted to say actually to you that I got involved with the NAACP in New Haven area when I really became chair of the Black Coalition during the Civil Rights Movement and such. And that was a very interesting time. You have to remember that the 1964 Civil Rights Act and the 1965 Voting Rights Act came. And then basically we had all these problems because Martin was assassinated. So that would take a period of total urban unrest for us. I headed the Black Coalition in the city of New Haven, and the NAACP was an important part of it as such. So they were under the umbrella, but we had some 50 groups. We had all the fraternity groups, the sororities, we didn't have that many elected officials, but we had the fraternity groups like Elks, Masons, Kappas, college fraternity, sororities. We had the Businessmen's Association. We had the churches as such, which was one of our first groups. We had the Muslim movement as such, and a host of others were all a part of that. So that was an awesome responsibility of that particular group as such. So there are a number of opportunities that I've had to do a variety of things, and I think that they're important. I left the Black Coalition, ran for mayor of New Haven 3 times. Okay, we elected the magnificent 7 aldermen. Okay, and that was the way that we opened our opportunity to participate. And then I left there and became treasurer of Connecticut.
I am a member of the Greater New Haven branch of the NAACP Youth Council, and I will be interviewing Henry Parker, who is a long-standing member of the Greater New Haven branch of the NAACP. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. As you may know, this is the 100th centennial anniversary of the NAACP, and many young people have not had the opportunity to share some of the rich history of the organization, which you and many other pioneers helped to create. This is our opportunity to capture these moments and learn from your efforts. Would you begin by telling us your name and the date when you joined the NAACP?
My name is Henry E. Parker. People call me Hank. And basically, I think that I had a communication and a relationship with the NAACP because I grew up in Baltimore, where 2 blocks from where the Mitchell family, Parent Mitchell and Clarence Mitchell, that group. So we were a part of them. I wasn't an official member. It was just that they were doing things for us as a community as such. My best view of where I really got involved was when I came to New Haven in 1957. And basically headed the group called the Black Coalition, which the NAACP was a part of, and that basically I was able to work with them. But I have then after that a variety of activities that I did with them, such as basically I was saying marching with Roy Wilkins in Boston when they had school desegregation, the whole business of the coalition with the NAACP on the executive board of that, and I, of course, become a Golden Heritage Life member of the NAACP. I put programs together. I was asked to challenge all the new elected officials in 1989, I think that was that I said. And so basically I've had a wide range of experiences, some when I was treasurer of Connecticut, and a few before that time as chairman of the Black Coalition. Those were rich experiences, and I think the NAACP made me better and made our community safer and what have you, because it was dealing with the 1964 Civil Rights Act, civil rights, right, and the 1965 Voting Rights Act, and those were two programs that impacted the condition and what we did in our community, particularly related to our getting to vote, and then getting the vote out. That was awfully significant.
When you joined the NAACP, what were the main issues facing the New Haven community that motivated you to become a member?
New Haven in the 57 and 58 when I came here had a program called redevelopment. It was an urban renewal program, and basically they were moving people from different points. All the African American community, for the most part, or 95% of it, was located in Dixwell in 1957, and they were moving toward Newhallville as such. What happens was when they had the redevelopment program take place in our community, we were moving people out of houses, tearing them down, building new houses, and so African Americans were being shifted. We were trying to move toward Newhallville, but what we learned to do was to go toward Dwight. The Hill neighborhood had an awful problem with the city of New Haven and its urban renewal program. So one of the things that was driving us, in addition to the question of bias, racism, and that sort of thing, was the fact that we couldn't find places to live. It was very difficult, and we were trying to participate in the redevelopment program, but if you didn't have money or some of the other things, it wasn't going to work for you. Plus the fact we had no political power. And that was awfully significant. And the reason that that's significant is that basically, if we're going to impact what elected officials do, then we have to be voters. We have to turn out on the election, and we've got to select candidates to be for us. And guess what? Nobody ever thought that we were going to have a president of the United States, Barack Obama, who has impacted everything. But he has been, his whole campaign has rolled on what happened in America from 1964, when the Civil Rights Act took place and the Voting Rights Act took place, because all of the people who, this is an example. In 1964, in 1965, when the Voting Rights Act was passed, there were approximately 350 elected officials, African American. Immediately, almost 10 years after that, there were 6,000. I mean, and that meant that we had power and influence. That was significant, and that's how we had some impact on what was going on. And if you look back, even though we're struggling today with some of the same problems, but the situation is very clear that we are growing with the political power that we have achieved, and Obama is going to be a part of that. And one more last moment. I know that it's a lot. I have so many things to say to you. But the most significant thing I thought was something that came to us by accident. We didn't even know it. For example, Martin Luther King's birthday was on January 19th, the celebration, not his birthday, but the celebration of his national holiday. But we were saying the dream lives on. And the dream that comes to us very interestingly, because on January 20th, an African American was inaugurated president of the United States. So you have Martin Luther King, Obama, and it sort of says that there was a transition from King to Obama in that period. Because just think about it for a moment, how odd that is as a coincidence. January 19th, Martin Luther King. January 20th, Obama. Fantastic, and it gives everybody hope, the audacity of hope. Okay.
Were there any important events in this country that made your commitment to the NAACP even stronger?
Well, basically, I will have to know that I had some unusual experiences. When I became treasurer of Connecticut, I was the sole fiduciary, meaning that I was in charge of a pension fund that became $3 billion. Okay, I opened the doors. I opened the doors to African American people who were on Wall Street to do business in the financial services industry as such. And that's what this will tell you all about. This is a snapshot of the man Hank Parker, because basically I wanted people to know specifically what it is. It's awfully important today particularly, but to open that door, see, we need to get that education. We need to get that opportunity to be in the political process, but in addition we need to have opportunities to be equally represented in financial services industries. And basically, while you see all these people saying they make all this money working, like they're talking about IAG, the situation is that a lot of that has taken place, and we have to understand it. That's Wall Street. And that isn't going to change in terms of a lot of the money that's made. But basically, what I was trying to do, and I hopefully to work with NAACP on it, and part in my charge to the NAACP, some of that's there. You will see that, and I hope you'll read it. And feel free to copy it, what have you. I have other things too, but that's generally it. Experiences, and I feel very good. I think that the NAACP and a number of other African American institutions and fraternities and organizations have had a great impact on our lives. The NAACP has been there fighting for us. Michelle, one of the things that I think is significant that some people have not come to understand is that the NAACP, in my view, is our most precious organization with the exception of the Black Church. It has been there through thick and thin, and it has taken the licks and worked hard and basically done all the things that I think we can do to help ourselves along. And my view is that it needs the support now of the young people as such. What I was saying in this article that I did actually, and I just run through a few of them that will be very interesting for you. I said that precious, talking about the NAACP, precious in the ongoing struggle for equality, opportunity, and basic human rights of Black Americans. The NAACP has been there when it counted. And look, just listen to just one or two of these. It was there in 1919, sponsoring the Conference to Prevent Lynchings. It was there in 1954 for Brown versus the Board of Education. It was there in 1956 with Rosa Parks and Dr. Martin Luther King. It was there in 1961 with the Freedom Riders. It was there as an architect of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Fair Housing Act of 1968, and the Equal Employment Act of 1972. It was there in Boston and Louisville in 1975 to fight for busing, etc. And it just goes on and on and on as such. These are the things that I think that our young people need to know about. That's why I say this is a good article for that, because just on that one page, and I only did half of them, but that's the situation. When I was on Wall Street, I was able to work with a group called the National Association of Security Professionals, and I was chair of the National Pension Fund Conference for them, to do a program we called Fast Track, because we had the young people in that program, and we were making opportunities for them to learn about finance, because that's the area that everybody needs to know about. That's America. And Connecticut gave me the rare opportunity to be treasurer of Connecticut. And basically, I tried to use it as many ways as I possibly can to elevate the status of our people. And we did. We opened the doors for them to do business on Wall Street. And I know that they're there and making money, and it improved the quality of their lives and their families and what have you. And that's the same thing we want to do here, but we have to get that connection.